Our freedom depends on the balance between heaven and hell. I have just described the balance between heaven and hell, and have shown that the balance is between what is good from heaven and what is evil from hell, which means that it is a spiritual balance that in essence is a freedom. The reason this spiritual balance is essentially a freedom is that it exists between what is good and what is evil, and between what is true and what is false, and these are spiritual realities. So, the ability to intend either good or evil and to think either truth or falsity, the ability to choose one instead of the other, is the freedom I am dealing with here. The Lord grants this freedom to every individual, and it is never taken away. By virtue of its source, it in fact belongs to the Lord, and not to us because it comes from the Lord. Yet still it is given us along with our life as though it were ours. This is so that we can be reformed and saved, for without freedom there can be no reformation or salvation. Anyone who uses a little rational insight can see that we have a freedom to think well or badly, honestly or dishonestly, fairly or unfairly, and that we can talk and act well, honestly and fairly but not badly, dishonestly and unfairly, because of the spiritual, moral and civil laws that keep our outward nature in restraint. We can see from this that the freedom applies to our spirit, which does our thinking and intending, but not to our outer nature, which does our talking and acting, except as this follows the aforementioned laws. The reason we cannot be reformed unless we have some freedom is that we are born into evils of all kinds, evils that need to be taken away if we are to be saved. They cannot be taken away unless we see them within ourselves, admit that they are there, then refuse them and ultimately turn away from them. Only then are they taken away. This cannot happen unless we are exposed to both good and evil, since it is from good that we can see evils, though we cannot see what is good from evil. We learn the good spiritual things we can think from infancy, from the reading of the Word, and from sermons. We learn the moral and civic values from our life in the world. This is the primary reason we need to be in freedom. The second reason is that nothing becomes part of us except as a result of some affection of love. True, other things can enter us, but no deeper than into our thought, not into our volition, and anything that does not enter our volition is not ours. This is because thinking is derived from our memory, while volition is derived from our life itself. Nothing is ever free unless it comes from our volition, or what amounts to the same thing, from a particular affection that stems from our love. This is why our freedom and the affection of our love or intentions are one. So we also have freedom in order to be able to be moved by what is true and good, or to love them so that they do become part of us. In a word, anything that does not enter us in freedom does not stay with us because it does not belong to our love or intentions. And anything that does not belong to our love or intentions does not belong to our spirit. The actual reality of our spirit is love or volition, using the phrase love or volition because whatever we love, we intend. This is why we cannot be reformed except in a state of freedom. But there is more on our freedom in the extracts from Secrets of Heaven below. So that we can be in freedom for the sake of our reformation, we are united in spirit with heaven and with hell. With each of us there are spirits from hell and angels from heaven. By means of the spirits from hell we encounter our evil, and by means of the angels from heaven we encounter the good we have from the Lord. As a result, we are in a spiritual equilibrium, that is, in a freedom. On the presence with us of angels from heaven and spirits from hell, see the chapter on the union of heaven with the human race. We need to be aware that our union with heaven and with hell is not directly with them, but is mediated by spirits who are in the world of spirits. These spirits are with us, none from hell itself or heaven itself. We are united to hell through evil spirits. in the world of spirits, and with heaven through the good spirits there. Because of this arrangement, the world of spirits is halfway between heaven and hell, and is at the point of balance. On the location of the world of spirits halfway between heaven and hell, see the chapter on the world of spirits. We can see from this where we get our freedom. I need to say something else about the spirits associated with us. A whole community can establish communication with another community or with another individual in any location through a spirit emissary. This spirit is called the agent of the group. Much the same holds true for our union with communities in heaven and with communities in hell, through spirits associated with us in the world of spirits. One last note about our instinct concerning life after death that results from heaven's inflow into us. There were some common people who had lived in the virtues of their faith in the world. They were brought back into a state like the one they had in the world, and then shown what kind of notion they had had about our state after death. They said that in the world, some intelligent people had asked them what they thought about their soul after their life in the world, and they said they did not know what a soul was. Then the questioners asked them what they believed about their state after death, and they said they believed they would live as spirits. Next, they were asked what kind of belief they had about spirits, and they said that spirits were people. Their questioners kept asking how they knew this, and they kept saying that they knew it because it was true. The intelligent people were amazed that simple people had this kind of faith when they themselves did not. I could see from this that everyone who is united to heaven has an instinctive notion about life after death. The sole source of this instinctive notion is the inflow from heaven, that is, through heaven from the Lord, by means of spirits who are assigned to us from the world of spirits. This instinctive notion is possessed by people who have not stifled their freedom of thought by assumptions about the human soul that they have seized on and confirmed by various means. Assumptions that the soul is either pure thought or some animate principle whose seat they seek in the body. However, the soul is nothing more nor less than our life, while the spirit is the actual person, and the body is an earthly thing we carry around in the world. It is only an agent through which our spirit, the actual person, acts in a way that is adapted to the natural world. What I have been saying in this book about heaven, the world of spirits, and hell will be obscure to people who find no delight in knowing about spiritual truths. But it will be clear to people who do have this delight, especially to people involved in an affection for truth for its own sake. That is, people who love truth because it is true. Anything that is loved enters into the concepts of our minds with light, especially when what is loved is true, because all truth is in the light.